The IS threat could move Iran and the U.S. to more indirect cooperation. However, Iran's nuclear program threatens to further strain that relationship. A new round of talks is scheduled for later this month. At the talks, Iran and 6 world powers, including China and the U.S. As CCTV's Asiya Namdar explains, reaching a deal will involve all sides overcoming some stubborn sticking points.
Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif says he's hopeful Iran and the 6 world powers can resolve a dispute over Tehran's nuclear program by the end of November. Zarif expressed optimism after his meeting in Brussels with European Union officials, including top EU diplomat Catherine Ashton.
I'm quite optimistic after discussions with Lady Ashton that we can, in fact, resolve this issue in time. It requires political will.
A breakthrough came last November when Iran and the 6 world powers reached an interim deal, leaving the door open for more negotiations and a final agreement. A July deadline came and went, and all the parties agreed to keep talking. Iran seeks the lifting of crippling international economic sanctions. World powers want Iran to curb its uranium enrichment and guarantees that Tehran is not making a nuclear bomb. Zarif says new sanctions on his country are not helpful, and he pointed a finger directly at the United States.
There are impediments to progress, behavior that has been exhibited by some countries, including the United States, in imposing new sanctions, has been certainly a less than positive indication for progress, but we are nevertheless committed to making progress.
But what about progress and cooperation between the U.S. and Iran when it comes to Islamic State terrorists? Can the 2 countries work together to fight IS in Iraq and Syria? The brutal rampage by IS in parts of Syria and Iraq and its threats of creating Sunni state could lead to instability in the wider Middle East, and that's the last thing Shiite Iran and the United States want to see. Publicly, both Tehran and Washington deny there's any direct cooperation. In fact, Iran's moderate president Hassan Rouhani took an unusually hardline approach recently. According to the New York Times, Rouhani ruled out talks with the U.S., saying America's actions created the IS problem and Washington cannot be trusted. Zarif was more cautious.
We need all countries in the region to join forces to set aside illusions about gaining short-term gains from the presence of these terrorist forces and looking at the long-term picture, their own interest in dealing with these terrorist organizations.
Threats posed by the Islamic State and Tehran's nuclear program are topics that will likely come up on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly later this month. An opportunity for the international community to make progress on 2 pressing issues. Asiya Namdar, CCTV, Washington.